Members of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, known as OPEC, have agreed to the biggest production cuts in over 2 years. Russia and several other oil-producing states also signed on. The cartel announced Wednesday it will slash output by 2 million barrels per day starting in November. The move could push up gas prices worldwide and raise the risk of a global recession. The White House called the decision short-sighted. Kaushik Deb joins me for more. He's a senior research scholar at the Center on Global Energy Policy at Columbia University's School of International and Public Affairs. Kaushik has previously worked with Saudi Arabia's Ministry of Energy. Thank you for joining us. The cut of 2 million barrels a day represents about 2% of global oil production. So how can that affect the U.S. and European nations?
Good to be with you this evening, John. The first thing to kind of note is that the cut of 2 million barrels that was announced earlier today would probably be realized in a much lower number in the market. OPEC Plus has been missing its production targets ever since these production cuts were decided in 2020, and was lower than its production target by about 3.5 million barrels. Net, one would expect that the impact on oil production and oil supply globally would be closer to about 1 million barrels, if not even less than that. But it's still a fairly substantial number. And this would see a reaction in oil prices ever since these discussions started to trickle out in press since this weekend. Oil prices are up by about 10% globally, and that will, in the end, start to impact prices at the pump.
The Saudi energy minister says OPEC Plus is responding to signs of a downturn in the world economy. We're all seeing that, and that might cause demand for oil to weaken and prices to fall. Is that a fair assessment of the way things are?
Well, that's at least part of the story, in the sense that OPEC Plus has been consistently talking about the fact that they are very conscious about declining oil demand or growth in oil demand being lower than projections, and they want to make sure that the market is well balanced. But it also is it's also an attempt to maintain a certain level of price. The Middle East oil producers have started to see budget surpluses after a period of budget losses for about 8 or 9 years. And certainly that's an attractive worldview that they would not want to protect.
A lot of critics in Washington are saying that the Biden administration made a bet on Saudi Arabia. The president was moderate in his public comments about the ruling family in Saudi Arabia. In exchange, they hoped for some help with oil prices, and that this decision today proves that the president was wrong in his thinking. What's your assessment of that?
Well, one thing to kind of recognize here also is that the ability of the coalition to increase production by very much more than what they were producing, let's say last month, or what they produced in September, is very limited. There is very little spare capacity, and whatever little spare capacity exists is just within UAE and Saudi Arabia. So in many ways, there was very little ability for these countries to ramp up production, by reducing production targets for November and going forward. It's a signal that they would want to kind of keep some of that spare capacity to be able to respond to other crises that might happen in the world, including, for instance, if Russian crude goes off the market because of a variety of sanctions that are being discussed. Equally, this is also their attempt to preserve the oil price at this level and try and maintain their budgets so that they are well stocked when, at a point in time, we consume less oil.
All right, Kaushik Deb, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.